1 in 70 trillion. That's roughly the odds that your exact DNA will randomly recombine again at some point in the future, spawning essentially your same body. Those are extreme odds, and in reality it will never happen, but the key principle here is that nature can create the same thing more than once. Another way we see this is through convergent evolution. This is when the same rough body plan is developed independently more than once. And my favorite example here is the very interesting dynamic between dolphins and ichthyosaurs. So ichthyosaurs evolved 250 million years ago from land-based reptiles into seafaring creatures that have a striking resemblance to dolphins. But ichthyosaurs went extinct about 70 million years ago, and dolphins evolved about 10 million years ago. So that shows that even if a species goes extinct, if the environment that created them persists, they can essentially re-emerge via the same evolutionary pressures that originally shaped them. Now, where this gets interesting is when we apply this to alien life and humanity as a whole. So when thinking about aliens, there's two main thought processes. One is that alien life will be very different than Earth life. After all, the universe is a very big place, and the sheer amount of planetary systems and the possible combination of conditions there are extremely diverse. So thus, assuming that alien life will be similar to Earth life, it's a little human-centric and reminiscent of the thinking that Earth was the center of the universe, just because that's where we happen to live. However, the second line of thinking is radically different. So here, assuming that life, or at least complex life, requires a rocky body with properties that at least partially allow for the existence of liquid water to facilitate chemical reactions that are needed for life, then it's not unreasonable to assume that a simple microbe will eventually arise in this environment. After all, on Earth, essentially as soon as conditions allowed for it, life did emerge. If conditions remain stable, then eventually this life will become more complex. After all, one thing that we definitively know about life is its deep propensity to spread out and occupy every available niche. So naturally, in this alien world, life will diversify to take advantage of the resources. And with a rocky surface, abundant solar radiation, it's only a matter of time before photosynthesis arises, and we eventually see life forms that resemble plants and even trees. After all, on Earth, these designs prove to be the most competitive and successful. So on this alien world with similar conditions, the same thing may be true. And once you have abundant plant life, it creates new niches for other more advanced animal life. And eventually it's possible that an ape-like species might evolve up in the canopy of these alien tree-like organisms. Intelligence may prove to be a survival advantage, and their appendages designed to grasp tree branches might also enable the use of advanced tools. So essentially what we're saying here is that in the same way that dolphins and ichthyosaurs independently evolved into roughly the same thing due to similar environmental pressures, other worlds that are capable of producing life may have similar environmental pressures that ultimately lead to a type of macro-convergent evolution between these rocky, habitable planets. If this is correct, by projecting our evolutionary path onto other worlds, even though that seems like a very human-centric thing to do, it actually results in the opposite, of making us humans rather unremarkable and simply the most probable outcome given the conditions. Thus, when we eventually do find other intelligent life, we may be surprised to find out that we're not that special, and that the human body plan is simply the most common way that the universe can spawn intelligent life.